economic reports dropped this week, and here's the bottom line. The Fed's favorite inflation gauge, the CPI, shows prices rising about 2.7% year over year. That means inflation is cooling and cooling more than expected. At the same time, consumer sentiment came in at 52.9. That barely improved and still historically low. That's how people feel about the economy. So the translation here, Americans aren't feeling the affordability relief yet after the crisis got so bad just a couple of years ago. So what can we expect for your affordability in the new year? Let's bring in Jeffrey Small, partner of Retirement Income Sources. Jeffrey, good to have you back. So prices are rising more slowly, but life is still expensive. Inflation is still cooling, though. But, you know, a lot of households still feel the squeeze, and people want to know, when does this finally feel better for me, for them, my family?
Well, that's a great question. We all want to know that. And it's a big mystery as we see the pundits and the press and the political realm want to blame the current administration. And nothing could be further from the truth. The real act of horrid consumer inflation that's been bestowed upon the American populace, is being done by the Fed. And as an example, inflation is running at 2.7% right now, annualized. And so $100 of goods today will cost $102.70 in 12 months. Okay, that's our run rate. But when we look at what the interest rates are for what the Fed has set the tone for, if you have a credit card with a $10,000 balance, you're paying $2,300 in interest on a 23% APR. And so we see credit cards running from 21 to 25%, auto loans 7 to 9%, mortgages 6.5 to 7.5. And so the Fed is creating what I call the greatest act of financial mismanagement and practice. They're costing the consumers more than any particular policy or presidential anyone in office ever has historically. And so they're the ones responsible for what's happening to consumers right now. And they have the power to lift it, because 2.7%, Alicia, really is close to normal by historical standards when it comes to inflation.
Right, it's stabilizing for sure. And also real wages have gone up after going down under the last administration. Gas prices are going down. Again, inflation cooling. The big, beautiful bill, the tax cuts and the tax refunds are coming next year. Those are teased to be some of the biggest we've ever gotten. So the numbers say progress. The sentiment says otherwise. Do you see that turning around with the momentum going into 2026?
Sentiment has risen a little bit this month, according to the University of Michigan, and that could be because of the consumer season and some of the things that have been put in place on this big, beautiful bill. And with all the spending, of course, going on in tech, that kind of makes people feel good about what's happening in the economy. But I think we're in for more headwinds. I think we have really a number of slow recessionary sectors in our economy right now that are just dragging, and they really are dependent upon rates being lowered. Housing being one of them, car sales being another. The cost of living as a daily basis. You notice people are spending a lot less at the grocery stores and the stores when they shop, even though Christmas shopping this year is projected to be an increase year over year. And so, you know, what's not helping us, Alicia, is that credit cards are at all-time highs. Consumer debt is at an all-time high. And so when we have debt structures at all-time highs like that, if rates don't come down, we're literally taking out hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars out of the economy in interest payments. And if the Fed would just get out in front of that and stop being so data dependent and stuck at 2.7%, you know, as an inflationary run rate, rates need to come down. That's what needs to happen.
Oh, hopefully that happens. You see another rate cut soon?
I don't. I think we have a divided Fed. And that message of division of the Fed is sending mixed market to the stock markets. And so the mixed messages to the stock markets. And so, you know, we don't have a uniform Fed, unfortunately. And unfortunately, when Jerome Powell's term is up in May of next year, there might be another seat available as well. And so the Fed has 12 members that vote on policy. And so I expect this disjointed, unorganized, confused Fed to keep up the pace of really very little movement in rates, unless we see a significant increase in unemployment and maybe a decrease in GDP. And so if projections for the economy go south and unemployment goes up, then we'll see the Fed act quicker. But in the meantime, they're stuck in mud.
Right. And we'll see what happens with the new Fed chair coming in a few months as well. Jeffrey Small, partner of Retirement Income Sources. Appreciate your time today. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.